All right, so get this. Today we're diving deep into Japan.
Japan.
Yeah, specifically this company, JML Group Japan.
Okay.
And they're all about making it easier for like food and beverage brands to get into the Japanese market.
Yeah, I mean, Japan, notoriously difficult market to enter, right? Tons of regulations, really unique consumer preferences.
Exactly. But JML is trying to change that. And what's wild is we've got this whole collection of stuff about them, like company pamphlets, business plans, even an illustration.
Really paints a picture.
Yeah, it does. Of how they went from, get this, starting in a converted wooden shed.
No kidding. Like, seriously.
Seriously. To developing these high-tech solutions for navigating like Japanese regulations and stuff.
That's a heck of a journey.
It is. And you know what really caught my eye, though? One of the founders, Fernando Lira, he's a former Dutch Marine.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, total contrast, right? Former military guy teams up with this American tech enthusiast, Joshua Storbeck, and they start this company trying to crack the Japanese market.
That's an interesting pairing for sure. I'm guessing that military background comes in handy with all the, strategy and discipline needed to navigate a market like Japan.
You think? So we've got to start at the beginning, right? This whole wooden shed situation.
Yeah.
Like, was that their actual office?
It was. Humble beginnings, for sure. But even back then, their mission was clear. Make international trade easy and accessible, no matter how tough the market is. And for Japan, that's a bold goal, right?
No kidding. Okay, so how did they even get started? What were those early days like, working out of a shed?
Well, lots of trial and error, that's for sure. Fernando's background probably helped, like you said, bring that discipline and strategic thinking. They were importing products, figuring out logistics, the whole 9 yards.
And I'm guessing they ran into some snags along the way.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Like, they had this one product, they were sure it was going to be a hit, but it got completely tripped up by Japanese labeling requirements.
Ouch, yeah. Those regulations are no joke.
They're notorious for a reason. But honestly, that failure, it was actually a turning point for them.
Really? How so?
Well, it forced them to really, understand the why behind those regulations. Not just what the rules were, but why Japan had them in the first place.
So like a crash course in the Japanese mindset almost.
Exactly. And they realized it wasn't enough to just get a product into Japan. It had to be truly market ready, meet all the standards, appeal to Japanese consumers. They needed to become experts, not just importers.
That makes sense. So what did they do with all that newfound knowledge?
They pivoted big time. They saw this gap in the market and started building websites and online storefronts for their clients, basically creating this digital bridge to the Japanese market.
So instead of focusing on getting products physically to Japan, they helped brands establish an online presence first.
Exactly. Smart move, right? Get in front of Japanese consumers online while you're sorting out the physical distribution side of things.
For sure. And while they were doing all of this, they were also attending those giant food exhibitions, negotiating with distributors, really immersing themselves in the market.
Yeah, they were soaking up everything they could about consumer behavior, market trends, you name it.
That's how they came up with the MEQT, right? The market entry qualification test?
You got it. It was like their answer to all the challenges they faced, this system for making sure products were truly ready for Japan, regulatory compliance, market testing, the whole shebang.
Sounds pretty intense.
It was thorough, that's for sure. But there was a catch.
What was that?
Well, it was a big investment, both time and money. For smaller brands, it could be a bit much.
So not exactly accessible to everyone then.
Not really, which is
Yeah.
why they came up with something even more innovative. But, looks like we're out of time for this part of the deep dive.
Oh man, that's a cliffhanger. We'll have to pick this up next time and find out what they came up with. Don't go anywhere.
See you soon.
Okay, so last time we were talking about this MEQT thing.
All right, the market entry qualification test.
Yeah, and it sounded super helpful, but maybe not for every company.
Yeah, it was a bit much for some, especially smaller brands.
So what do? Come up with something totally different.
They did. Remember how we were talking about Fernando and Joshua?
The founders. Yeah.
Right. Well, they took everything they learned from those early struggles and all those MEQTs and basically turned it into this online platform.
Oh, wow. So is it like a website? What's it called?
They call it the RCNT, stands for Regulatory Compliance Notification Tools.
Okay. It's a mouthful.
It is. But it's actually really cool. Like, imagine having this whole suite of online tools that can tell you if your product is even going to fly in Japan, regulation-wise.
Before you even try to, sell it there.
Exactly. It's all about minimizing risk, right?
Mhm.
Like, why invest a ton of time and money into something that might not even be allowed in Japan?
That's smart. So give me an example. How does this actually work?
Okay, let's say you're a food company, right? You got this amazing new snack, but you're not sure if all the ingredients are even okay to use in Japan.
Happens all the time.
Right. Well, they have this tool, the Japan Food Additives tool, and you basically just plug in your ingredients, and it tells you if any of them are restricted or could cause problems.
Whoa, that's amazing. So you know right away if you need to reformulate or something.
Exactly. It takes all the guesswork out of it.
And you said they have a bunch of different tools.
Yeah, they've got a whole suite of them, each one targeting a specific type of product or industry. Like for pharmaceuticals, they've got the pharmaceutical tool, helps companies figure out if their products fall under Japan's pharmaceutical regulations.
Which are probably super complicated, I'm guessing.
Yeah, a real maze. But this tool helps companies navigate all that, makes it way less intimidating.
It's like a cheat sheet for Japanese regulations almost.
Kind of. But it's more sophisticated than that. It's constantly being updated. They work directly with Japanese government agencies to make sure everything is accurate and up to date.
Okay, so it's not like a one-time thing. It's a living, breathing system.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's all designed to be super user-friendly, even for companies that don't have, a whole team of lawyers specializing in Japanese regulations.
So it really levels the playing field then.
That's the goal. And you know what's really clever? They actually use this product passport analogy to describe the whole thing.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's like you're getting pre-clearance before you even try to enter the country with your product.
Makes sense. So with all these tools, it sounds like JML is really becoming like the go-to experts for entering the Japanese market.
They are. And, it's not just about the tools themselves. It's about the knowledge and experience behind them. JML has been through it all. They know the ins and outs of the Japanese market better than almost anyone.
So they're not just providing information, they're providing like peace of mind.
Totally. And I think that's really valuable for companies, especially those who might be a little hesitant to tackle the Japanese market. JML takes a lot of the fear out of the equation.
Makes it seem less like a giant scary monster. Right?
Exactly. They're showing the world that Japan is open for business. You just need the right guide.
All right, so we've covered a lot about JML.
We have.
Their mission, their whole journey from that wooden shed to developing this amazing RC&T thing.
Product passport, yeah.
Exactly. But it feels like there's more to them than just tech.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the tech is impressive, but what really sets them apart is their approach. It's so multifaceted.
What do you mean by that?
Well, they're not just consultants. They're importers, distributors, web developers, you name it.
They wear a lot of hats.
They do.
Yeah.
And it's all part of creating this, ecosystem to support businesses entering Japan, not just helping them navigate regulations, but, actually thrive in the market.
Okay, so it's a holistic approach, not just a one-off service.
Exactly. And even with all the high-tech stuff they do, they still haven't forgotten the importance of the human touch.
Oh, right. Didn't they offer something like orientation tours?
Yeah. The Business in Japan orientation tours. It's this immersive experience, like a crash course in Japanese business culture.
So, more than just sightseeing?
Way more. It's all about getting a real feel for how business is done in Japan. They take you behind the scenes, arrange visits to Japanese companies.
Wow, so you get to see how it all works firsthand.
Yeah, and they have special sessions on all sorts of things, cultural nuances, etiquette, the whole 9 yards.
That sounds invaluable, especially for someone who's totally new to the Japanese market.
It is, and it ties into another key part of JML's philosophy, ethics and sustainability.
Oh, right. We haven't really touched on that yet.
Yeah, they're really committed to doing business responsibly, ethically sourced products, sustainable practices, that kind of thing.
Which makes sense, especially in the food and beverage industry.
For sure. Consumers care about that stuff, and JML gets it.
Okay, so they've got this multifaceted business model. Strong ethical values, but why Fukuoka? It's not exactly the most obvious choice, right?
Right. But it was a very strategic decision. Remember, Fernando, one of the founders, is ex-military.
Yeah, the Dutch Marine guy.
Right. So he's thinking strategically about everything. And Fukuoka actually offers several advantages.
Like what?
Lower operating costs compared to Tokyo, access to other Asian markets, and, get this, a thriving food scene.
Wait, so they can actually use Fukuoka as a testing ground for new products?
Exactly. They get real-time feedback, refine their strategies before going national.
That's smart. Okay, so to wrap things up, what's the big takeaway here? What's JML's story really about?
I think it's a reminder that success in any market, especially a tough one like Japan, takes more than just a good product. You need to understand the system, be adaptable, and, have a strong ethical compass.
And maybe a former Dutch Marine on your team?
Maybe, but seriously, JML's story is inspiring. They started small, faced challenges, but they never gave up on their mission.
And now they're changing the game for businesses around the world.
Exactly. It's proof that with the right approach, anything is possible.
Well said. Thanks for taking us on this deep dive into JML Group Japan.
My pleasure. Always fun to explore these stories of innovation and, breaking down barriers in the global marketplace.
Absolutely. Until next time, folks, keep exploring and keep diving deep.